Welcome back, second half of the Dewar Shield Grand Final here on Rugby Time. Quins leading 22 points over the Melbourne Unicorns 12. McGrath feeds. Tawulfa goes to the right, gets legged by Kololo. McGrath, you can see the game plan of Quins with their noses in front by 10 points. That's a couple of scores, and they're just putting it on the shoot. Finding space, making the Unicorns do all the galloping.
They certainly are. Yeah. A little bit worried. Unicorns looking very flat at the moment. Looking a little bit rudderless as well.
Let's play.
Pressure line out here for Scott.
Well, we know the Unicorns, it's not their first big dance. They know what's going on this time of the year. But a big steal by Gus Hamilton. Really quite loose play by McGrath, but somehow it's come off. Lloyd Johansson goes to JT. It goes through his legs. Schuster goes through his legs. Bellini goes through his legs. And Tawulfa comes up with it. And if we have a replay, we'd have to go and have a look at it, Adam. Mistakes everywhere. Let's have a listen.
No knock on there as well. First. No. Okay, that's a try.
Well, it was almost under and over. 3 sets of legs almost. It's gone through. McGrath, a Hail Mary, and it finds hands. Lloyd Johansson does a cut. Justin Tavai goes through his legs. But anyway, irrelevant. It ends up in Quins, and they're over the line for another try. After the ball fell off the tee, Lloyd Johansson, former Wallaby, converts. Left by Gus Hamilton. Manassi carries and carries strongly. Goes through the Unicorns pack. McGrath, Ferreo, OJ Noah stands, gets rid of Chris Slade, which is normally hard to do. Opportunities to left. Ferreo goes to Masters. Cut ball, face ball to his good mate Tavai. We know he's got fancy footwork. Good little offload. Schuster, been quieter.
I can still hear you guys.
Yeah, Freddie Often's come off, and James Ford in 18 jersey changed for the Unicorns. Kololo goes forward. Messi off the line out. Gus Hamilton gets charters. Emery, short ball to the skipper. Dummy to Ford, runs headlong in to Tawulfa. Kololo goes to Jones, dances across, Ghost, bumps off 1. Met by 2. But there's still for the left, Kololo. Slade beats 1, which was Ferreo. The skipper's been caught, and the Unicorns need to get that moving forward, otherwise they're going to lose the pill.
It's as good as gone, Josh.
Jack de Gangoin, no surprises. He's been impressive, the young bull, as he's been impressive all year. But he's won it for his beloved Harlequin. You can see his father in the background there, nervously watching his son play. Ferrao. Big Donna puts it on the boot over the chainsaw's head. Great shot of the crowd here at Box Hill. Big day for local rugby. Magnificent crowd.
Yeah, I can still hear.
It's actually a bit of a shame. The year it's been the biggest year of rugby union in its history here in Victoria, and capping it off here with a fine game of rugby.
Charters off the top, Kololo to Jones. Jones goes to the midfield to Slade, who's been good. Nice little offload to Ford, who's just come on and immediately made an impact. Kololo going to the left. Chris Slade again. Elliot Bull roaming wide, beats 2. Beautiful work off the back. No, turnover. Tried to promote it, but now McGrath's got it. Dummies. Time slows, and it's starting to get a little bit loose.
Advantage is over now.
Quins still have the ball. Quick boot to the toe, off green, and we'll have a line out. Beautiful, nice little work by Adam Fry. Comments from the very, very special guest commentator today. Little moment in time for Wells Productions and all of us, because the 2 commentators in the grand final were the 2 that we did all the way back at the start. Anyway, back to the footy. Great Charters off the top. Off to the top, and he's been solid all day in the line out.
He has been solid, Josh. He's won a couple of the opposition's pills as well, but this is not the rugby they want to be playing. They want to be scoring points, getting it out there, getting some tries. They're running out of time, and they're using it.
Does a great job of ripping that out, TT in the middle. But Kololo just doesn't need him, keeps on trucking it up. That's Ford, shapes to dummy, but carries it himself.
Advantage, 18 Quins offside.
You heard Matty Hall very clear there. Opportunity for the Unicorns to go wide. Out the back, short ball, beautiful to the Chainsaw. Chainsaw beats JT. 2-on-1 here. Bellini goes back inside to the Chainsaw. Stevenson in number 14 as we go to the replay, Adam. How'd you see that magnificent try?
Well, it's been way too long since they've seen it out there, Josh. And they finally did, and they made some metres. And with that, they've scored a great try. Chainsaw setting it up. Probably passed a little bit too early, but nonetheless, they've got the points.
Kick-off over Charter's head goes to Marcus Slade. Jack the Gangle, who's been Johnny on the spot. He'll go very close to getting the points as best player in the competition today. We go wide to Vi. Masters, who's been roaming wide. Inside ball, good carry. Ferreo drops it and has dropped again. We'll see what Kalolo feeds. Big scrum by the Quins. Jack the Gangoin.
He's been good, Jack the
Gangoin. Jackie D has been magnificent. Out the back, Masters coming. Poor ball, opportunity here.
Oh, goodness me, Josh.
And it is a foot race. Foot race here. We go to the Bellini, who's also quick. Masters got him inside. Beautiful work from Hastings to get it to him. Masters is on the ball. Pollen short ball going. Hastings in the midfield. Kalolo going wide. Ford languishing out there in the wide. Carries it, knocks it on.
Advantage over.
Maradona sees some space at the back. TT's going back there. Maradona's back there, and the ball beats all of them at him. Charters again, he's been solid in the line out all day. He'll be disappointed at the end of this fixture, you'd expect, but he's been pretty reasonable. Unicorn still eking it up. Marcus Slade. Jones needs to show some magic. Drifting across wide. Offload. Looks to be James Slattery is on. Yep, Slats is on. James Slattery. These two mighty clubs. 1 and 2 on the Premiership, 1 and 2 in the Grand Final, 1 and 2 in the Copa Shield. Showing their strength and their input into this great game in this great city.
Hold? No.
Kalolo. Unicorns have got a chance to arm. Kick across field. Knock on. Big collisions, which is what we want to see in fast rugby. Both teams have come to play and put on a display of magnificent rugby. Kalolo. Jones out the back. Slattery. Dummies. Gets outside his man. Makes a half bust.
Backwards.
Just a little bit of miscommunications. Hastings went for it when that ball was for Jones. And it's untidy, and the Unicorns under pressure again. Ford comes through on Noah. Bellini goes left. Hastings goes double, triple cutout. Marcus Slade with the chainsaw. Marcus Slade dummies to the chainsaw. The skipper's away down the left. Looking right, needs to see Long. Tries to do the flick out the back to the chainsaw. But what was an enterprising open game from Marcus Slade comes to nothing.
Maybe they're feeling like they've got a little bit of hope here, the Unicorns, as they continue to dominate the line out and play.
Jones dummies again, goes cut-out ball. Yeah, not brilliant, but Bellini's got it with a bit of space. He's got some footwork and some speed. Off the right, straightens up, beautiful tackle from De Gangon.
I can hear some of the locals here getting very excited and counting.
Hasn't been any way through the midfield of the Quins.
Use it.
Matty Hall wants to see some play. Call of use it. Pick and drive. Bull, former Rebel Rising Player of the Year locally in the first year of the Rebel Rising team. Try time. Just pick and drive after pick and drive. If there's any time after this, as we go to the replay with 10 minutes scoring, if there's any time, it's probably giving the Unicorns a half a sniff.
Well, if the referee taking his whistle off his wrist is any sign, no, that's it.
Well, and there it is. Matty Hall closes proceedings on the Jewish Shield, as you can see, a jubilant Harlequins victorious. 2013 Dewar Shield Grassroots Rugby. They are the champions. Very, very happy, Gus Hamilton. Congratulations, mate. Well done on a great victory.
Yeah, thanks, Joshy. It was a really hard-fought game. I think credit to Unicorns. They really stuck it to us in that first 40. We came together at half-time and knew exactly what we had to do, and we were able to sort of capitalise early on in the second 40, and yeah, we were able to stick them out for the rest.
Well, early you blokes came to play. There was a lot of balls being thrown around and it was an open game of footy, but at the breakdown it was a real arm wrestle.
Yeah, definitely. We probably lost a little bit of that in the first 40, and I think we weren't getting that forward ball that we needed to get. But yeah, again, credit to them. We were able to sort of start building on that towards the second half and towards the end.
Yeah, certainly the dominant team by the end. Players all over the ground were stepping up. Lloyd Johansson in the guts. Your forward pack at scrum time, you would have enjoyed the dominance there, mate.
Yeah, it was really good to get our resis to come on and give us a bit more run, especially in the scrum and around the park. And yeah, as you said, like we were able to really sort of push that and come away with points.
Well, a hugely successful year for Harlequins. Jackie D had a fantastic game today. You've won obviously first grade ruin. Getting Coach of the Year, Brock getting Volunteer of the Year. It'll be a huge night at the club for the Quins tonight.
Yeah, there'll be a few soft drinks drunk tonight, I think. So it was a big year for everyone. Colts got up as well, Seconds got up. We had a few other awards and we were able to capitalise today, so couldn't be happier.
So congratulations, mate. Huge game for the club. Enjoy tonight and enjoy the celebrations.
Thanks, mate.
Slater, commiserations.
Yeah, they scored early on us. I thought we did well to come back in the first half. We ended well, and then second half I think they just took their opportunities and cost up too much ball, and yeah, rest is history.
Yeah, the first half you had a lot of composure, and it seemed that finals experience was a big factor in you going into half-time being up.
Yeah, well, we felt really confident going to the second half. Yeah, but I think they just like I said, we made too many mistakes in our half, and they came out with a lot of passion and just made the most of the opportunities.
Yeah, mate, in that second half there were a couple of tries that the Quins scored pretty quickly, which meant you're starting to play some catch-up footy. Got close at the end, but just probably a little bit too late.
Yeah, it's always hard when you got to play catch-up footy, and you know, they had their tails up, and it was always going to be hard, yakka. But yeah, proud of the boys to bounce back towards the end there, but yeah, just a bit too short.
Well, Slater, your team and your club has been a huge team and club within this competition. Cowper Shield winners again. I'm sure you blokes will be back ready and ever for next year. Good luck over the pre-season. Look forward to seeing you next year.
Yes, thanks, Josh.
Goes to the blind Marcus Slade around the back to his brother, who's got on the outside. Brotherly love here, Adam. Jack the Gangai, dummies, keeps on going with Colin chasing, and the two great friends, Angus Hamilton. Well, there you have it. Mighty Harlequins win the Dewar Shield competition 29 points to 26. Adam, what a magnificent game of rugby. Showcase.
It's a great result too, because the Harlequins have invested so much into their infrastructure, into their program, and it's just reward. And we just heard then how special it is for this club to get the Dewar Shield, and the Unicorns, 3 attempts out of 5 have been victorious. But a good season for the Unicorns, but Harlequins, minor premiers and Dewar Shield champions.
Yeah, also the second grade winning in the Colts, a magnificent year for them. They've got a full cabinet after tonight. What do you think was the difference and how did they win today?
Well, it was composure. In the first half, the Unicorns seemed to have that composure, but when they started falling behind, I think the lead at one stage was around about 16, they really couldn't get back into the game. And I think that by the end of it, Lloyd Johansson was pretty sharp. I just think they had that level of composure where those passes were sticking. And of course, the Unicorns just really trying to get them in that corner down there on the other end, and they just couldn't get the result. And it was all about defence. True grit won it in the end.
Yeah, you mentioned Lloyd Johansson, former Wallaby, was outstanding. Who were some of the other players? Because there was a veritable plethora of great players out there today.
They certainly was. And look, one person that we spoke about on the call a lot was Dale Stevenson. Now, Dale, a former Olympian, he's come back, he's played club rugby to get to the next level. The scrum for the Harlequins really stood up when it counted. They got a couple of tight heads. And set piece is such an important aspect, and we saw the Harlequins with their kick-off for a seat dominated. Their lineouts were on par, but certainly their scrum, and I thought Dale had an outstanding game.
Well, there you have it. Harlequins, Dewar Shield champions for 2013, take out the championship 29 points to 26 against the Melbourne Unicorns. On behalf of the Victorian Rugby Union and the Melbourne Rebels, we'd love to thank you for your work watching us here on Rugby Time. We'd also like to thank Wells Productions for their support and the Australian Rugby Union. It's been fantastic having you here on Rugby Time, and we look forward to having a good off-season and you joining us again here next season on Rugby Time.